In 1995, a man won $100,000 at a casino. This wasn't just a stroke of luck or a rare occurrence. For 6 years, he managed to use the casino as his personal money cow, pulling off win after win without raising any alarms. He almost got away with it. Who was this man? And why was he able to continue his schemes for so long without being noticed? Let's understand. Ron Harris wasn't like most crime masterminds. He hadn't been gambling for a long time or was a big roller. He worked for the Nevada Gaming Control Board as a geeky computer expert instead. Harris's job was to make sure that slot machines and other computer gambling machines in Las Vegas worked properly. In a strange way, this job gave him the right cover and access to the systems he would later use against others. In 1989, Harris started his journey into the world of high-stakes cheating. At this point, casinos were focusing on electronic gambling tools like video poker and slot machines because of the popularity of card counting and other math-based gambling strategies. These machines made a lot of money. Every day they made an average of $200 to $300. On the other hand, they brought about a new problem, and that is computer experts could change them. In his job as a computer expert for the Nevada Gaming Control Board, Ron Harris was in an unusual scenario. He was responsible for keeping slot machines honest so that both casinos and players couldn't change the results. For this, you needed to know a lot about how the tools worked, like how their microprocessors and software worked. At that time, slot machines were getting more and more popular because they were easy to use and offered big wins. Each machine had a computer and a small silicone chip that controlled how the reels turned. The reels were moved by tiny stepper motors. With this technology, casinos could set the probability on each machine so that they were profitable for them and fun for players. On the other hand, this technology also gave the Gaming Control Board a lot of trouble. They needed the smartest people to stop both casinos and players from messing with the machines. This is where Harris came in. His knowledge made him very useful, but it also gave him the tools he needed to cheat the system. In 1988, someone told the Nevada Gaming Control Board that some video poker machines seemed to be rigged because they kept missing jackpots in a strangely regular pattern. It had very bad effects. Casinos depend on trust and fairness, and any breach could wipe out the business. Ron Harris, a hardworking and quiet computer expert, walks in. Harris was told to look into these claims, so he set out on a trip that would reveal a complicated web of lies. Harris began his research by looking at everything very carefully. It was American Coin Enterprises that provided the video poker machines in question. This company worked with casinos on a revenue-sharing basis. Because of this deal, both the sites and the company benefited from the players' losses, which could be a reason to fix the games. Harris took a measured approach. He took the machines apart and looked at their microprocessors and software code. The results of these tools were decided by random number generators, which is a system that can't be hacked, in theory. But Harris's close study of the code showed him something bad. There were small changes made to the software that stopped high-paying combinations, like royal flushes, from showing up when players bet the most coins. The finding shocked everyone. This malicious code was very smart and blended in very well with the real software, making it hard to find. Harris figured out that the machines were set up so that most of the players would lose, but it looked like everyone was playing fairly. The cheat was smart, and the way it was done was almost beautiful. But who did it? And how did they pull off such a large-scale plan without getting caught? Now, Harris's investigation led him to Larry Vogue, a lead programmer at American Coin Enterprises. Vogue, under intense scrutiny, eventually confessed. He revealed that he had been coerced into rigging the machines by the company's owners. Vogue's fear was palpable. These weren't people who took kindly to refusals. The owners had pressured him, leaving him no choice but to comply. As Harris dug deeper, it became clear how big the scheme was. Over 3 years, the rigged machine stole about $17 million from players. It was a huge amount that showed how crazy and far-reaching the plan was. But tragedy ruined the investigation's progress. Even though Larry Vogg agreed to speak against the company, bad things were going to happen to him. Threatening calls started coming to him and his family. This was a clear sign that the game was dangerous and the stakes were high. Vogg was shot dead at point-blank range outside his home, which was the most terrifying part of the situation. The gaming control board and the gambling industry as a whole were shocked by his death. Without Vogg's evidence, the case against American Coin Enterprises fell apart, letting the company get away with not being fully responsible. For Ron Harris, the whole thing was disappointing. He had found out about a big scam, but justice was still hard to find. He was angry and cynical after what happened and thought that the system he worked to protect had let him down. This important event was the turning point that turned Harris from a defender into an exploiter. He was having trouble with money and was deeply disappointed, so he started to think about how he could use his confidential knowledge to help himself. Harris's thorough study and the problems that followed show that behind Las Vegas's flash and glitz, high-stakes and dangerous games are played. What else could be hidden in the shiny casinos? How many more were ready to risk everything to find them? Now that they have money problems and are fed up with the system, it's time to act. Harris came up with a way to cheat the casinos himself. He had a benefit because he knew things that no one else did. He knew how to change the software on slot machines so that they would always pay out. Harris changed the tools that the gaming control board used to check out slot machines. When inspectors hooked up their computers to the machines, his changed gear would add a cheat code to the software of the machines. When a certain number of coins were put into this machine, the code would set off a prize. So that no one would think he was cheating, Harris needed someone else to pick up the prizes. He asked his friend Reed McNeil to help, and he was happy to. They carried out their plan perfectly as a team. McNeil would play the hack machines by following Harris's instructions for how to enter coins and collect the jackpots. The two did this trick over and over again from October 1992 to early 1995. They were careful not to get too much attention by buying flashy things with their gains. They didn't buy expensive watches or fancy cars or other nice things. They stayed out of sight, which made it hard for anyone to question them. Harris was always worried about leaving a path, even though they were successful. There was always a chance that someone would figure out when they changed the code on a slot machine. In order to lower this risk, Harris came up with a new plan that would make it even harder to find him. He then went after Keno, a game like a lotto where people pick numbers and hope they match the numbers the casino draws. Keno games had a much lower chance of winning than slot machines, but they could pay out much more. Harris could see how the Keno machines were programmed because of his job. He found out that the Keno random number generator wasn't really random. Based on past draws, he could figure out what the lucky numbers would be by looking at the software. Harris and McNeil went to Atlantic City in January 1995 to pull off their biggest scam yet. At night, Harris would stay in his hotel room and watch Keno on TV while using his computer to guess the winning numbers. He would then use a secret earpiece to send the numbers to McNeil. Everything was going as planned. Harris correctly picked the winning numbers, and McNeil played them and won $100,000. But in all their careful planning, they forgot one important thing: how to collect the winnings. The people who worked at the casino became suspicious when McNeil tried to claim the win. They asked for his ID and room number, which put him in touch with Harris. When Harris realized they were wrong, he quickly packed his things and ran to the airport. But when he got to Las Vegas, Cops and people from the gaming control board were there to greet him. It was over. Ron Harris's arrest had terrible effects right away, not just on him, but on the whole gambling business. Harris, who used to be a well-known and recognized computer expert, had to face the harsh truth of what he had done. When his plans were looked into, they revealed a web of lies that went back years and included hundreds of rigged slot machines and a planned Keno scam. As Harris was being arrested, the police looked into his scam in detail. They found out about the complex ways he had changed the software on slot machines to make sure wins would happen at exact times. His plans were so well thought out and detailed that it showed how well he knew the machines he was meant to protect. The Nevada Gaming Control Board was shocked when Harris was arrested. The organization that was supposed to keep the gambling business honest was in a tough spot. How could one of their own people have planned such a big scam? The news made them take a close look at their security measures and how they keep an eye on things. When the case went to court, Harris was charged with many things, such as fraud and conspiracy. People were eager to learn more about the man who had been cheating the gambling business for so long, and his trial became a big story. Harris was given a 7-year prison term in June 1996. When giving the term, the judge stressed that Harris's crimes were a breach of trust and were planned. Because he was on Nevada's Black Book of Banned People, he was looked down upon in the gaming world and would never go into a casino again. Ron Harris's story is a testament to how insider knowledge and technical expertise can be used for both good and ill. His actions forced the gambling industry to improve its security measures, making it harder for others to follow in his footsteps. Harris's ability to cheat the system for so long raises important questions about the vulnerabilities in even the most tightly controlled environments. How many other industries could be susceptible to similar exploits, and what measures can be taken to prevent them? The saga of Ron Harris is a cautionary tale about the intersection of technology and trust. It highlights the importance of rigorous oversight and continuous improvement in security protocols. In an age where digital systems are pervasive, ensuring their integrity is paramount. As we move forward, it's crucial to remember the lessons learned from Harris's exploits. Vigilance, transparency, and accountability are key to preventing similar incidents in the future. While Harris's story may be unique, the principles it underscores are universally applicable. Beyond the technical aspects, Harris's story also sheds light on the human element of cheating and fraud. His actions were driven by a mix of disillusionment, financial desperation, and a desire to outsmart the system. This combination of factors can be found in many instances of fraud across various industries. Understanding the motivations behind such actions can help in developing better preventive measures. It's not just about securing systems, but also about addressing the underlying issues that drive individuals to commit fraud. The gambling industry has come a long way since the days of Ron Harris. Advances in technology have led to more sophisticated security measures, from biometric identification to real-time monitoring of gaming activities. However, as technology evolves, so do the methods of those seeking to exploit it. The challenge for the industry is to stay one step ahead. This requires ongoing investment in security technologies and training for staff. And also, it should be made sure that everyone in the industry is honest and responsible, but somewhere it is not that practical. And also, Ron Harris's story sets an example that even the most secure systems can be vulnerable if the right safeguards aren't in place. It underscores the need for constant vigilance and the importance of addressing both the technical and human aspects of security. As we continue to integrate technology into every aspect of our lives, the lessons from Harris's exploits remain relevant. By understanding the past, we can better prepare for the future and ensure that systems are both secure and fair for everyone involved. Basically, Ron Harris was a man who used his insider knowledge to cheat the system and almost got away with it. His story is a blend of technical brilliance and human fallibility, but he ultimately faced justice. His exploits left a lasting impact on the gambling industry. They prompted changes that have made it harder for others to follow in his footsteps, but they also serve as a reminder of the constant need for vigilance and innovation in security practices. In the end, this story illustrates that the ingenuity and resourcefulness of individuals can be used for both good and ill. It entirely depends on how we use these qualities, because no matter how intelligent a person is, if they misuse their skills or power, the outcome is always the same. Truth will ultimately prevail. What do you think? Do tell us in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for knowing more hidden stories like this.